This mind map explores learning, and I've got 4 different branches here representing the 4 different ways learning can occur. So the first branch, we've got simple non-associative learning. This means learning occurs through repeated exposure to a stimulus rather than by linking 2 events together. So I've got 2 examples here: habituation, which is the brain phasing out or ignoring certain input, and then sensitization, which is hyper-awareness to stimulus. The next branch here, I've got associative learning, which is linking 2 events together, and that classic Pavlov's dog example there is probably the easiest way to remember it, and also adding on here the acquisition and extinction, how associative learning can be conditioned over time with responsiveness. So the next branch here on the right side, I've got operant conditioning. So this is learning through consequences. So I wrote behaviors equal consequences to help me remember that. In operant conditioning, what happens after behavior influences whether that behavior is more or less likely to happen again. So we've got these 2 main branches of reinforcement and punishment, so aiming to increase or decrease behavior. We've also got the 4 different types here. So the positive reinforcement, we add a pleasant stimulus, a treat to a dog. Negative reinforcement, unpleasant stimulus removed. Example here, we plug the seatbelt in to stop the unpleasant noise. Negative punishment, the pleasant stimulus is removed, for example, a child having their iPhone or phone or tablet games taken away. And then the positive punishment, which is the unpleasant stimulus added. So for example, a nasty $150 car fine here. And lastly, I've got cognitive and social learning. Not all learning happens through simple exposure or direct consequences. So some learning is involved with thinking, observing, and experience. So insight learning is where we do that sudden problem solving or being able to figure out how to do something just sort of by observing the environment, as shown here by the monkey figuring out it can stack the boxes to get the bananas. The latent learning, so this represents stored or hidden learning. So this may not be shown until needed later. So that's through a lot of memory, learning the maze before the reward, represented here by the mice. And then observational learning. So this is particularly important for children, but this is how we learn by observing, imitating, and watching others. So for example, the adult stacking the blocks, the child will imitate that, and that's how they may learn to stack blocks.